Good afternoon, everybody. This is Mark with Beyond the Struggle. I am here this afternoon here with Anthony. Anthony, how's it going, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing fine, brother. Doing real good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Amen.
So I was able to have a moment, and I'm so thankful to get you in, man. I have a very, believe it or not, full schedule for once in a blessing, I guess you could say. So it was nice to be able to have about 3 hours in between my next session. And I was like sitting there, and I was like going through, and I seen your name, and God was like, "Hey, man, like reach out to this guy. Let's just see what happens."
Yeah,
So
yeah.
here we are.
Amen.
So what I want to do is I want to get your testimony, and then at the end of your testimony, I want you to stick around a little bit. I want to pick your brain and
Okay.
talk about some of the community service stuff that you've been doing, and talk about your insights on your knowledge of what we can do to help our community and stuff like that as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So take it away wherever you want to start, from the beginning, from the end. It don't matter to me.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm fixed to be 57 years old. And my entire childhood, teenage years, through my adulthood, I've always been around drugs, alcohol, cousins, family. If they didn't smoke it, do it, they did it, they sold it. And so that was how I got introduced to things. I tried stuff when I was in my teen years. You know how it is, a bunch of guys, you get together, you get out there in the woods, and, hey, and your parents around you do what you had to do. So I tried everything. Even sold a little bit of weed here and there, just seeing what it was all about. My thing was, I never got what you could say fully addicted to anything, but I did get addicted to one thing. That was the power that the dealers had, the control that they had over people that were buying product. Because people would do anything to get what they need. And I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", 293. I've always been a big guy. And so I got into the aspect of the control of it. Being someone who could make sure you got what you needed. And it's a sad world to be a part of. And I carried it into my adulthood, and not realizing what it was doing to my life, being such a person who had to be in control, who had to have the final word in everything. And growing up, I've seen plenty of murder suicides. I've seen plenty of people get hurt to the point of death. Even myself, at the age of 14, I attempted to take someone's life, and it didn't bother me. And even to today, being the way that I am, when I see horrific things, it just doesn't bother me like it does the average person. And I was previously married for 32 years, and I lost all that on August the 10th of 21, not realizing, like I said, the anger, what it was doing to a marriage and a family, until I wound up getting arrested, thrown in jail, and laying there. And I realized, hey, man, we got to do something. Your whole life has been control, and anger and the temper that I had was, I'd snap at anything. It didn't matter what it was. So when I was laying there, they had me in isolation. I'm laying there, and I'm just, about 1 a.m. on the 11th, very next day, I just reached out to the Lord, and I said, hey, man, I need some help. What's going on? And I was on that concrete floor down there, and he showed me the errors of my ways. And he said, I just been waiting on you to call me. And when you feel someone touch you and pick you up and put you on that, that stainless steel slab they call a bed, and take care of you, that was the most rewarding thing. But I knew prior to that, I'd been in church, but I never took the Lord serious. Never took him serious. He'd been there with me so many times and protected me through all the craziness I've been through and the things that I've seen, the things that I've done, that I knew he was there with me. And the night I was arrested, when I was asked from the sheriff's deputy, tell me your side of the story. And I told him, and he told me, he says, yeah, there's a common denominator. That's the reason why you're where you are. Even the magistrate told me, he said, man, they want you locked up for 48 hours so they can clean your house out. He said, no, I'm going to have you out in the morning. So I knew somebody working behind the scenes. And I've been friends with some of the police officers and sheriffs, but this was my first time in a while ever being in any trouble. And so I wanted to make things right. come out of jail, had no ride, had no anything. And this real young fella, he goes, old school. And I was like, yeah, man, what's up? He said, you need a ride somewhere? Yeah. Now, at this time, my beard was to my waist. I had very long hair. I was living the lifestyle. I'm covered in tattoos. You know, I've got a couple that people really enjoy. One on this arm says, I'm good. And this one says, walk away. And it's become a motto for me today. You know, of course, I got my Jesus tattoos. So when this gentleman dropped me off where I needed to be, there was nobody there at my property. I managed to get in, and from that day forth, my life changed forever. I knew I needed to get my life right so I could help others so people wouldn't go through what I've been through. So I'm a big advocate for mental health because I tell everybody your brain is the first thing to tell you what to do. So yeah, I went through the whole court proceedings, divorce, so forth, so on. But hey, in recovery, I met a young lady. We've been married coming up 3 years. Things are wonderful between me and her, and we're doing great. And I have taken my recovery so serious to the point here in North Carolina, where I live, I am a North Carolina certified peer support specialist. I'm also a board certified master mental health coach, certified recovery coach, you name it, I do it. And I'm out here every day doing what I can to help people. At 40 years old, I was able to retire. That's been 17 years ago. And since then, I spend every day doing what I got to do to help people. I was a year and a half ago asked to be the executive co-chair of the CARE Coalition of Nash County, which is through UNC Hospital Systems, which that's a coalition for addiction recovery education. We set up, we give away free Narcan, naloxone, fentanyl test strips, xylazine test strips, care packages, you name it, we do it. And that's what I'm all about today. I know my past is my past, and that's where it's going to stay. And like I said, I was never hardcore addicted, but that power was my thing. I was just so addicted to that power that it cost me everything originally, but not today. Today, everything's so different for me. I'm part of the opioid settlement committee here in Nash County, North Carolina, trying to make sure this money gets spent the way it's supposed to get spent. Recovery coach, like I said, our church, we have a men's transitional house, which we find around here. Everybody's got recovery. Who's helping these men transition when they get out of recovery, getting them back into life, making them understand, hey, there's more. So we take guys straight out of local prison, federal prison, off the street, and we help them get through detox. And when they get out of detox, of course, we help them transition back into the world. We have a year-long program. We help them get jobs, driver license, cars, you name it. And so that's my passion today. Like I said, my story is a lot different than some folks, but I do have that drive to help everyone that I can help. I told you that little story about a friend who 3 years, had a little mishap. So getting him back on the straight and narrow. And I love my successes of guys that I can tell you 2 years ago, homeless, living on the street, had absolutely nothing, that today are making 6-digit salaries. They're doing wonderful in their career, and they're just, and I tell them, hey, it's nothing I did. It's what the good Lord did through me. I take no credit for anything. I just want to be a pathway to help people. I'm a resource hub, in other terms. That's what I do. And I get calls from several agencies, local recovery groups, places such as Moms on a Mission. We had a lady in Wilson County. Her son was high on embalming fluid, and she had to kill him, had to shoot him dead because he was about to kill her and the other family members. And around here, I don't know how it is out your way. These kids are taking embalming fluid, putting it in their marijuana, call it wet. They soak it, the same way with Trank. They are crazy about that stuff. Even though they know what it's doing to the bodies. And we have a lot.
Trank is that new drug, right? The horse tranquilizers.
Yeah, man. And see, in veterinary hospitals have to keep that stuff locked up now because they're injecting trank, and it's a sedative for large animals. And the thing about it is they're doing it and it's eating their flesh and they don't care. You know,
Wow.
that's what the xylazine test strips are for. Xylazine is the name of trank, what everybody calls it.
Right.
And so we give this stuff away to educate, pamphlets, booklets. I know all the local and out of state recovery agencies, places that I can send people for a whole year and a half free, 100% free of charge. Room and board, clothes, money, anything you need. There's a great place in West Virginia that I know that even yourself, if you can get them there, the man that runs it will gladly take them. No questions asked. So that is my thing. That's my story in a short, and being passionate about mental health. Because if we don't get our minds right, we're never going to get better. Never going to get better. And so that's why I advocate for people and I'm there for them. And to be a resource hub and have that knowledge to get phone calls and emails all the time saying, hey, I got this guy, I got this girl, I got this, I got that. And I was telling you about our transitional home. I was talking to the director of that, he pastored the church. He is in the process now of going to be opening 2 more men's home in a different county, a women's home, and also a third. So it'd be 4 men's home and a women's home that we'll have operational if things work out by the first of the year. So we don't just stay in our local county. We reach out and go everywhere. Setting up for events, that's another big thing. That's networking. You've got to be able to network with people. And when I'm out and about, I teach a lot of classes. I am, CPR certified, but I'm also Narcan certified instructor. I go to businesses. I go to churches. Have you ever heard of the One Boxes?
I have not.
All right, hold tight. Let me show you something real quick. Give me just a second.
Take your time.
One Boxes come out of a company out of West Virginia. This is what it looks like. It's a little purple. But inside of it, it comes with these little locks that you put on the outside of the box. These are designed to mount to hang on the wall. And inside each one, it's going to come with Narcan, 3 PPEs, but the kicker is this. They all have video, every one of them.
First off, let's take a deep breath. Step number 1.
All right. That video is in English and Spanish. It tells you how to administer Narcan. That's a quick 1-minute video, and then there's another 5-minute training video. I go into places with these. These are $150. We give them away for free. And I educate people about so they will know what to do. And these things are a life changer. And I know some people there at this company very well. But it's just the fact of being able to educate, man. That's key. When I go in there, and I just was at the local college training just a little over 300 Nash County bus drivers and teachers and everything. When I'm telling them about what's going on in elementary schools, how you can get medicated Skittles online. They're covered in THC. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're taking those, coating them with fentanyl.
Yeah.
Getting the kids hooked. And when you're educating folks, they know nothing, and they come up to you at the end and they're talking to you. And next thing you know, you wind up at their house. You wind up at their church or their business doing training because people just don't know and they don't know where to go get help. And so that's where I come in, doing what I do. Like I said, I'm happy to marry now 3 years, doing great. Loving everything we do. My wife is also a recovery coach, peer support. She retired 30 years from teaching school, but very next day she went right back to work down the street at the local children's home. So that's a little bit about me. It's everything in a short, brother. I'm not one to stand there and give a whole long testimony. I could break it down real quick and easy.
Yeah. It's understandable. You know, I ran across your stuff. Obviously, my page picked you up, people of interest, and so I started watching your stuff, and I was like, man, this guy's looked like he got some wisdom there, man. So I started watching some of your stuff, and you know, I'm a fan of that, man. You know, it's I don't know if you watched any of my things. It's, you know, the
I
thing
have.
I do. You know, what I love, man, is transparency. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like I preach transparency on here when you're doing this, because I don't want to work with the wrong people. I don't want the wrong people on my
Amen.
podcast. I don't want to be money driven. I don't want to be money influenced, you know, and I see a lot of people like that. You know, there's a lot of money in recovery that they don't do shit for nobody. You know, excuse my language, but that's the
Exactly.
reality of it. It makes
No,
me
man.
mad to see, it makes me mad to see that people forget. You know, they get these homes and they open these homes, and then when they got 5, 6, 7, 8 homes making all this money, it's like,
Yeah.
what did you originally open these homes for? Was thought your passion was to save people, you know? And again, hearing you talk
Yes.
about how we're just, what are we going to do with them once we get help them get recovered? You know, once, what are we going to
Hmm.
do? You know, just going to send them back out to do the same thing. And you know, and I just got off
Right.
the interview with this girl that I was telling you about, and one of the things is people don't. So when I went through a program called Pure One, which was like one of the nation's hardest recovery programs. It's a 2-year program. Like back in the 80s, they used to shave your head, put a diaper on you, break you down like that. So when I went there, they were still shaving heads. They would do stuff to humiliate you. You know, like if
Hmm.
for instance, like if they walked into a restroom, one of the restrooms, and there's guys left pee on the toilet seat or something, everybody in the house would have to cut out a piece of toilet, like make a toilet seat and put pee stains on it and wear it, stuff like that. Like that's the kind of recovery program I went through.
Right.
Now, you know, was it rough? Yeah, absolutely. But a lot of people hated the program, but there was things in there that I took from there that I'm gonna always give back. And one of the things that they taught me was to work my core issues.
Yes.
You know, and I'm a firm believer of that. In all my videos I talk about it. If you're not working those core issues, the stuff you've been through, the mental problems, learning how to recognize that stuff, you're just setting yourself up, man. You're not getting a good foundation. You'll be back at it in no time.
I know when I do a 12 step with the guys that I do, when they get to my step 4 and 5, I make them dig deep. We discuss everything, and they have paperwork they have to fill out and think back to as long as far back as they can. And I've sat down with guys as long as 10 hours just trying to go through their paperwork with them. And I tell them, when you get through this, you're going to hate me because you're going to cry. You're going to be mad. You're going to be happy. But I'm trying to get them to understand their defects of character. And when you're talking to someone and they've not checked the boxes correctly, and I'm sitting here talking to them, I'm like, are you sure it didn't have this effect on you? And then they go, well, dag, it did, man. You know, I didn't think about it like that. And so the guys that have gone through the program and I help them with their 12 step part, I do it a lot different than a lot of other people. I do it the way I was taught, the way I went through it. And I've been through 2 separate programs myself. And so I want to make sure when they get done, I list for them all of their character defects from the worst to their, well, best, if you could say that. But I have a number system of a way I work it out where I can say, hey, here's your top 3, man. You know, your self-loathing, your this, your that. And so I say, you know, that's what you got to work on. And I can say I've had some great successes. I've had a couple, you know, slip up, but hey, that's fine. That's part of life, man. I can get them back on the street, you know, and I've taken my fair share and still do today. People back and forth to rehabs, methadone clinics, whatever I've got to do to help. I'm here for them.
I agree. I like all that, man. That's good stuff. That's where we need to be. We need to be out here. You know, I tell everybody when they come on, man, is that you can't keep what you got if we're not giving it away, right? You know,
Thank you.
and that
That
that's the truth.
that's the 12 step. You got to give it away.
Yeah, got to give it
What
away.
we
It's not
learn, we
ours.
got to give it away
It's
to
not ours
somebody
to.
else.
It's not ours to keep, right?
No, no, not ours at all. You know, and I learned that, and I'm like, yeah, I'm giving it away. There is no resource that I have that I want to share with anybody. You know, hey, I want you to be able to use my resources. If it can help one person in your community, hey, if you don't know about it, hey, let me introduce you to somebody who can maybe help you in your community. You know, get something going, get something started. And that's what it's about. If we don't take our time to be there for one another, we're going to fail in this society of recovery. Because I've ran across people like, man, I just can't give it up, man. Why? Why can't you tell me what's going on? You know, tell me who your source is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm gonna wrap this up then with you.
Okay,
I
man.
appreciate you, man. Hey, let's get together. Jump on my website. Let's pick a Saturday or Sunday, man. Let's do a live video and let's chop it up. Take some questions and answers.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that'd
I
be
love
good.
to do that. Love to do that.
Sounds good, brother. I appreciate you, man. And then let's stay in touch. I like to get some of these resources going and
Yes,
get you guys
sir.
on my get you.
No problem, brother. Appreciate you so much for everything you do.
Anthony, thank you so much again,
Thank you,
sir. I
brother.
appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Have a blessed one now.
You too.
All right, buddy.